What is going on, guys? Jason Brock here, jasonbrock.com. And I got my main man, Greg Jeffries here. Very, very cool guy. I've had the pleasure of meeting him in person, down to earth, very smart, very humble guy. And we're going to talk about how he's making a really good amount of money doing search engine optimization and maybe some other stuff in there too. So how you doing, Greg?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Pretty good, man. Had a lot of fun talking to you. I wish I need to do this sometime, man. Record the pre-interview chat because that's
where the gold is, man.
Yeah. So dropping maybe a few more cuss words in that one than we will on the. So how's it going, man? What are you up to today?
Not a whole lot. Just kind of doing work, putting a little bit of effort on a variety of different projects and stuff. But everything's going awesome. I'm just kind of working on scaling the things that are already working for me. So. It's a good place to be. And I know we had originally, just to give people some context, we have kind of an interesting story if you want to go into that sometime later. But like we met, I think it was 2 years ago. And so even, back then you were doing really well at that time. I was still at a job. And so I'm not anymore, I'm free. And that's kind of the whole goal of what we're doing in online marketing. So it's really awesome to be in this position. So this is all new to me. I quit my job about a year ago. So I had 12 months of just freedom and awesomeness. So I'm in a really good place right now. So
yeah, I remember that. I think you reached out to me and said, "Hey man, I saw you on Kindle. You moved, or I saw your videos about Kindle publishing. I just moved to Austin, Texas at that time. You're like, hey, let's go out and get a bite to eat." And I remember you talking about your blog. That I'm assuming your blog's responsible for a lot of the money you're making, a lot of the traffic you're doing with SEO, right?
Right. And that was the initial. I've got many different sites now, but that was the initial kind of main source of traffic and revenue.
Right. But I remember you talking about that, and I'm like, now you're doing so well with SEO. So it's really cool to see that, like, a lot of people that I'm sure we talk to, they have a project, they don't stick with it, but you stuck with the project, and it's continuing to be a great asset for your business.
Yeah, and then just to give people some more context to kind of go back, the reason I guess I stuck with it, just like everybody else, I think we all kind of suffer from like ADD or shiny object syndrome, but over the years and all the courses and softwares I bought, I just sort of naturally kind of tended to gravitate more towards SEO stuff. I know on the surface it seems really slow and boring and mysterious and stuff, but the more content I consumed and learned about SEO, it sort of started to make a lot more sense to me. And I don't know about you, but like when I first got started, I didn't really know or really care what I was doing. I just wanted to make a certain amount of money and have that fit into a certain lifestyle, which was just basically like, I don't want to do nothing. I want to do something, but only for a couple hours a day. And then the rest, I just want to like live and enjoy my life. So that was kind of the lifestyle I wanted. And the more I learned about SEO and kind of refined my approach to it, it met that criteria. So I was like, wow. I mean, yes, it does take a little effort to build up, but once, if you build it up, these assets properly, and don't do all this black hat shady, stuff that just gonna just destroy them, they're going to produce for a long time, which is really the goal. I mean, I have people that reach out to me that run paid traffic and make way more money than me, but they see some of my results and they're like, man, they're jealous of me because they know that I don't have to maintain traffic campaigns every day. I just like wake up and I'm not making millions right now, but I'm comfortable. And I don't. If I choose to go on a vacation for a week or a month or 2 months or whatever, like I'm good. I'll pay for that vacation and have some left over.
You don't have to be checking your Facebook ad manager every 10 minutes. Be like, okay, God, I gotta kill this ad and I gotta scale this ad. So yeah,
and that's the thing that you don't hear talked about. Sure, paid traffic is great for scaling fast, but it takes money. It takes a budget to refine that, and then once you have that, you have to kind of constantly be tweaking that. That's not just a set and forget, free money in the bank every day.
Right.
So.
And you mentioned that, like you're really good at SEO, but you're going to more than likely hire a Facebook ads advertiser to help you with that, because it's really hard. Like, to me, it's really, really hard to get good at paid traffic, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mentioned this before, so I've did my due diligence. I know some of the best Facebook ads people. I've been through their courses. I've attempted to duplicate their results. I failed a lot, and so now, since I've got a little more money coming in than I need to, pay more than my expenses, I'm in a position to where I can afford to do that. So that's obviously what you kind of want to do, because you could technically become the best at like everything SEO and paid traffic, but they're two different animals. So like if you're in a position where you can hire somebody, definitely do it. I mean, as long as you know, like, and trust them and stuff. If they're going to make you, between ad spend and their cost, if you're coming out profitable, do it. Like they're going to make,
you don't have to worry about.
Yeah. And so,
and following people like Russell Brunson and Mike Dillard, as far as I know, they don't even touch their own Facebook ad campaigns. They have someone else handle that for them, so they can really focus on what their core strength is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yours right now apparently is search engine optimization. So I've been doing a little research on you, watching some video interviews, and one of the tactics that you like to utilize is the Longtail approach, right? Can you explain a little bit what that is and how maybe some of the audience members can use that in their business?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is something that people that have probably dabbled or researched SEO a little bit are familiar with. The concept of like long tail search has been around for a long time. But my epiphany came like a year or two ago when I went through a course, and for whatever reason, it just clicked then. And it wasn't so much like the long tail, but so the two difference between long tail and shorter phrases is that shorter phrases, sure, they get a ton of traffic, like running shoes or something, but the intent, you don't know what the intent behind that search is. They're probably just doing research. So there's a lot of volume, but that's usually not buying traffic.
Right.
So the longer tail search phrases is usually more intent behind it. So if you're typing in red Nike running shoes, man, that's pretty specific. Like, that person probably wants to buy some red Nike running shoes. So not only is it less competitive, but there's less competitive. If you're doing like PPC, it's less cost per click and stuff. And there's just fewer competition. Yes, there's smaller amount of traffic, but there's so many long tail search phrases. And a lot of people that are just getting into SEO, for whatever reason, they gravitate towards the longer tail stuff, which sure, you can eventually rank for it, but it's going to take you so much time and so much money. Like, you're probably going to give up or be dead by the time you rank for like Make Money Online or something. Meanwhile, over here, we've got this whole like thousands and thousands and thousands of variations of just long tail search phrases that, again, yes, by themselves, they only get a trickle of traffic. But since there's basically no competition for any of them, I have this sort of shotgun approach where I target all of them. And like we were talking about before the interview, with YouTube videos, you don't really know which one's going to take off. I don't know which one is going to be the magical keyword that's going to get all the traffic, but so I just target all of them. I don't have a crystal ball, and so I target all of them, and whichever ones stick, great. Whichever ones don't, I don't really care, because I'm getting some traffic. And that's sort of the basics of it. And this works well with blogs as well as YouTube videos. YouTube even better, because you've got that engagement factor with having some rapport you can build with your audience. But I kind of going back to when I first started, like I don't, everybody starts off at a different place, but I think most of us can kind of put ourselves in this situation, because most of us kind of started here, which is basically broke, or you didn't have that much money. And so I don't know about you, but I always used to wonder, like, how, like, it's cool seeing these sales videos of people claiming they're making like $10,000 a day, but how did you get from 0 to 100? Tell me that, because if you tell me that, I can multiply it by 1,000 or something. And so the beauty of Longtail search, it's that key to that puzzle of, you know, you can, yes, it's going to take some effort, as does anything worth doing, but it's kind of like building a house. Like each of those long tail search phrases, it's kind of like laying one brick and another brick and another brick, and eventually you build like a wall. And then now you've got this traffic that you're siphoning from the search engines, and you can do that in all kinds of different niches. So most of your audience may be like affiliate marketers, internet marketers. And while that may be seemingly like competitive, that's a really, really, really small niche. Like it might be competitive, but it's extremely small compared to much larger ones like health and fitness and diet and weight loss and you know, other niches out there like blenders or something. Like there's so many products for sale,
right?
And they all have long tail, like thousands of long tail keywords related to them. And if you want to kind of compound this, you know, if you just took all the existing long tail keywords, like in the whatever English language, then you've got all the other languages in the world. And then every single year, there's new search phrases that come out because there's new products, there's new actors and actresses, there's new movies, there's new bands. And so every year there's more, like, and those are even less competitive because they're long tail and new. So it's kind of like that launch jacking concept. So like, I love SEO now because I used to think it was like slow and boring and hard and competitive, but now I just see the different side of it where it's just like this infinite like abundance. And even if there were like 10,000 people or 100,000 people that did this, there were like, I'll just say that there's not going to be, but if there was, there would still be plenty for everybody to do well. But the reality is that just like there's not like a million auto mechanics in the world, there's not a million people that know as much as I do or you do about SEO. Like it just doesn't. It's
yeah. You know, it's cool too. Hearing you talk about all this, it's like I'm thinking to myself, like this is a very beginner friendly method. It's good for intermediate people that are at a stage where they have a business going, and even an expert level, because you can apply everything you teach into all these fields, because you could get more traffic coming to their blog, to their website by applying what you teach, which I find is really cool. Yeah.
And I mean, just to kind of, I know a lot of businesses that are already making a lot of money, they focus on SEO last, which kind of makes sense. You know, a lot of the terms that they may be focusing on or trying to target are may take a little time to rank. So it makes sense to get if they have a budget to start with and they're already making money, to start with pay-per-click and stuff just to get revenue. But you know, this is mostly designed, yeah, like you said, it's for anybody, but I love it especially for the beginner, because I have kind of a soft spot in my heart for those people, because that's where I was like a year or two ago.
Right.
It wasn't that long ago. And I know so many people, like that's their big hurdle that they're trying to push through is first you got to make that first $1, then like the first 100, then the first 1,000, like those little baby steps. And once you get past that, it's hard to, like, once you get that confidence, like you've made several $1,000s online. I'm sure if you, like tomorrow, if you had to make 100, like you could do it no problem. Like you could just like send it out to any one of your audiences, Facebook, even on your news feed, and make $100 like that. Whereas somebody just starting out, it's just such a big hurdle. But like once you've overcome that, you can do that again and again and again.
It's like when the guy ran the 4-minute mile for the first time, and then like after he ran it and broke that barrier, like 20 people did it that year. Because if you see someone doing it and you're like, oh man, I can do it, and you know, I can see your results, I'm like, damn, dude, I wish I would have taken. I mean, I do some of that approach on my e-com sites and stuff, but like for my own blog, for just, you know, writing an article about a long tail keyword, to what you're doing, which is really cool, is you're primarily a lot of affiliate marketing. So you're helping other people sell products that like have a high converting sales page or a product, right? Is that kind of the gist of what you're teaching?
Yeah, and but I give people a lot of different ways to scale. I've got a course we can mention later, but yeah, I started out in affiliate marketing, internet marketing, the IM space, just because that's what I like, that's what I knew. So those are the kinds of products I pushed. But man, this is a lot bigger than that. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I'm just now starting to get comfortable with venturing into other niches. Like I knew I should have been doing it years ago, but I couldn't get away from like affiliate marketing. I'm sure you can kind of maybe relate. That's like, this one thing. So like, like you see the opportunity, but you don't really know how to get it. But
yeah, you mentioned blenders earlier, which I thought was interesting because I have a Vitamix. It's in that thing up here, and they have a good affiliate program. They have like a $300 blender that people love, and I'm like, the wheels are spinning for me. Like, you could potentially, like, if you took your method, what Greg is teaching, you could create a site about blenders, and you could make a good amount of money doing what you're teaching by focusing on the long tail keywords, blender review, whatever. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. And you may be thinking, well, I feel like all roads lead to Amazon. So they're kind of like the super affiliate program. So if you can't find an independent, its own like proprietary affiliate program, pretty much almost any physical products for sale for Amazon. So in the case of blenders, you got your cheap ones, but you got your expensive ones too. So even if they're paying 4 to 6%, if you're getting 4 to 6% off like a $300 badass blender, and you sell it just a couple of those a month, that's pretty good for a little niche affiliate site. And that's just one product. There's like a billion products on Amazon.
And what's cool too is, I don't know if you teach this in the course or not, but I mean, if you're not an article writer or a video person, you could like use some of what I teach on the Kindle side and hire a content writer to write an article about that.
And that's exactly what I do, because I prefer to write my own stuff in the IM space because I know that space. So I feel like I can give more value for those articles and people that will lead to higher conversions. But the stuff I don't know about, like mattresses or chess sets or blenders, yeah, totally I'll outsource those because I don't know anything about that. And to me, like, while you can have the, expert at chess or expert at, Vitamix blenders, and that would certainly help you if you're an expert at that. But that, I consider those a little more generic industries or terms. Like, so yeah, I don't have a problem outsourcing with it, that kind of content, and having sort of an average piece of content for that, because it's really more about the content, the words on the art in the article, to suck and siphon that traffic in from the search engine. Once you have the traffic, you have a lot of freedom and leverage and flexibility you can do to kind of control that traffic once you get it.
And since you're getting a lot of free traffic, you're able to, build that email list up, right? I know when you go to your website, the email, you're collecting emails and you're doing all the basic stuff to really build a really sustainable business.
Yeah, and that's and the beautiful thing about building like a website is that you don't have to have all those pieces of the puzzle together on day one. You can layer those over time. And yeah, the email, and I don't want people to be intimidated by email. I remember, we all have heard this for years, that the money is in the list and stuff, and we know this, but I used to be really intimidated by building a list because I was like, man, I'm not a copywriter, blah blah blah. You have all these excuses. It doesn't matter. Like, if you literally just talk to them in plain English, and send them like links to stuff and remarket to them, like it's the profit multiplier. Like, you will make money, just like assuming they're not like fake email addresses. If it's a real email address, I've done the numbers so many times, like, and by the way, so people know, like, building an email list from SEO traffic, pure gold. Yeah. Because these guys they have to find your website, and then they are willingly giving you their email. So they're finding you. It's not interruption marketing like paid ads. You're not trying to like put a pop-up in front of them. Like, they're finding you. And like, it's the highest quality lead, whether you're doing that through a YouTube video or a blog. And so, so earlier this year, I had a list of just a couple hundred people. You don't need a huge list. And that led to like tens of thousands of dollars. Just from, I used to hear numbers like that, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, that's a lie. Like, it was less than 1,000 people, like probably 300 to 500, and absolutely made me multiple hundreds of dollars. And just with that little small list, but it was very like laser targeted and stuff. So you can do that with all kinds of niches. It was in the IM niche, but you can do it with blenders. And guess what? You're probably not going to sell them a blender in every email, but if they're buying a blender, they're also interested in other things in that little ecosystem of like health and diet and
weight loss, a diet book or a weight loss program or something like that.
Yeah. So it's just, I mean, I kind of think of it like a puzzle, and just like to build these little strategies and assemble all the pieces. Yeah.
So how many, you don't have to obviously tell what niches you're in, but like how many of these sites, I mean, you've got your IM site, and then how many other niches or sites are you focusing on right now?
Honestly, the ones that I've only built probably, I'll build a lot of them, but most of them I've just built a handful for kind of case study sites for the course, just to prove, and I did it after I published the course, to prove to my students that I'm just like them. I can use the same information I'm teaching you to go into pretty much any niche and like get more money. Like, it doesn't have to be the IM niche. And I did this with at least 4 sites. And so, I love it because the potential for scaling is just infinite. Like I call it like infinitely scalable, just because pretty much it is. Like you don't even have the time of the day. You can't hire enough outsourcers to go after all the niches and the keywords if you wanted to. But there's plenty there for you and like everybody to have their own set of sites and live a very, very comfortable life with just SEO.
Yeah, I think so many people get caught up in with marketing and online money making. Like, oh, I gotta make. They see these guys making a ton of money each month, and like, I need to do that. But it's like, if you go to your website and you look at your income growth, it's a very steady increase month after month after month, and like pretty soon, like if I talk to you 2 years from now, it'll probably be at 50K a month or even higher. Who knows? You know what I mean? I mean,
it's gonna be higher. Huh? It's going to be higher for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just, and you can confidently say that because you're building assets, and you're not worried about like just making a quick buck, or you're not worried. And one, so that really it was what's getting me excited. And as you're speaking, like, I'm like, dang, like this is such a good opportunity for myself, like to do in my business, for my blog, to maybe do a niche site like that too, and use what I know as far as hiring outsourcers and hiring writers to basically do the content for me.
Yeah. And I'll give you this little example. So this was probably back in like July. So I started working on a new ClickFunnels site. And this was going to be like, my plan was for it to be some super big authority site. I only got about a month into it. So I wrote about 10 posts. I don't want to call them articles, but posts a day. So the goal was to do that till the rest of the year. I only got about a month through it, so I got about 270.
Wow.
But so it sounds like a lot, but I mean, I chipped away at it a little bit of the day. I didn't do it all on the weekend. And you might say, well, 10 a day, that's a lot, but I know the material, I know the content. So it literally took me like 2 hours to do 10. So I don't know. I know the product, so that made it
right. ClickFunnels is one of your main affiliate partners that you work with, right?
Yeah. So it's just like Kindle, like you're very familiar, even though you've kind of been out of the game a little bit in the last couple of years, but you're still more familiar than most. So like if you had a list of 20 Longtail Kindle keywords, like you could probably just kind of wing it.
You can knock out a book or knock out an article, and you're not writing like 10,000 word articles. You're just focusing on a very specific keyword that people are searching in Google, trying to get them over to your site and trying to get them to, buy a very good product with ClickFunnels.
Yeah,
You know,
and I'm actually taking the effort to specifically answer that one search phrase question. So it's the best way to go about this. Obviously, that takes more time, but if you're just focusing on one site, that I recommend starting with one site or niche. But just to kind of fast forward a couple months later, so that work that I did 1 month now is making, it's like 300 to 600 visitors a day off 300 articles, which is like, it may sound like a lot, but you have to remember ClickFunnels is it seems like a cool big niche in our world, but the rest of the world has
nobody knows about it. If you walk down the average person out in the street, they're not gonna be like, know what it means. They're like, what are you talking about? Funnels? What do you got? You trying,
And so if I'm getting that, and this is organic, I'm not paying for this stuff. If I'm getting like, 500 visitors consistently a day off that tiny little niche, come on. And it's only like that's like the tip of the iceberg. I didn't even finish all the ClickFunnels keywords. We're only like 300, and there's still probably 1,000 more to go. And then there's so many different ways to scale that site. So if I wanted to make it bigger, I would start targeting all the ClickFunnels biggest competitors like the lead pages and Infusionsoft to just suck in more of that traffic, and I can kind of funnel them to and introduce them to ClickFunnels, because this is kind of getting off a ClickFunnels tangent, but a lot of people seem to be impressed by my results with that, since that's one of my biggest earners. But so this is kind of how to do it if you want to know how to scale, or with any niche. So the low-hanging fruit is the keywords related to the product itself. But you got to remember, like, the only people searching for ClickFunnels terms are people that kind of know what ClickFunnels is. So the other people that are searching for lead pages and Infusionsoft, they don't know what it is. So that's your opportunity to introduce them and hopefully get the referral. So
I remember listening to the interview you did with the gentleman that works at ClickFunnels, and you mentioned that. I was like, wow, that's a brilliant idea. So you take somebody saying like lead pages, free trial, and you say, hey, like, maybe you should try basically, right? Is that what you're?
Yep. And like, if you're a marketer like me, you probably had this thought years ago too. It's like, it doesn't matter what they choose, because I'm a ClickFunnels affiliate and a lead pages. I don't care what they choose, but I want to give them the option and give them the power to choose. Like, either one, I make money. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, they're both good programs, but I think we all know, like, you want to strategically try to get with a product, number one, that is good, and number two, that has a very good affiliate program. And I think ClickFunnels is, as far as affiliate programs, is leaps and bounds above like lead pages at this point, right? Like, they're just so many products and so many different things that people can potentially consume with that.
Yeah, the big advantage of ClickFunnels is they have multiple products in their little ecosystem, and they will kind of upsell them on those other products for you. So because of their sticky cookie, so if you refer them to the ClickFunnels, which is their flagship product, they will upsell that customer on all their other products eventually. So that's works to your advantage.
Yeah, I actually got kind of motivated. I'm like, you know what, man, I need to, because I use ClickFunnels and I really like the product. And I did a book review of .com Secrets, which, like, that's an excellent book. Like, I told a buddy the other day, he was like, man, I want to make money online. I'm like, get this book. Like, this guy will be able to tell you like so much more than I'll be able to tell you. And it's all in this one book. So
just a little shameless whatever plug for ClickFunnels. Yeah, all their content, their information stuff, whether it be their books or their like their perfect webinar formula and video sales letter template, blueprint, like all that stuff is they're just the best upsells ever, because they help you make more money with ClickFunnels. So I mean, it's just a perfect value ladder. So
yeah, man, it's fascinating. I definitely am going to personally be implementing some of the strategies that you do. Maybe starting a complete new site based on kind of what we talked about today. Like you said, you did 300 articles, didn't take you all that long, and you said how much now? Are you getting the referral? Like, what's your?
It kind of fluctuates, but with ClickFunnels, I mean, it's very close. Some months it's more 5 figures a month consistently. So Yeah, that's a nice little chunk of change. And like, here's the thing that kind of frustrates me. Like, I wish I had 2,000 hours in a day so I could do more, but ClickFunnels is one of many income streams. So like, if I stop doing everything else and just focus on ClickFunnels, my goal is to get 100K a month, which I know is possible. It's only 2,000 referrals. I could totally do that. I would probably be at least at like 50,000 a month. Now, if I just focus on that one for this whole year, and I know people that watching this, they may be thinking, oh my God, like 12 months is a super long time. Well, what are you going to be doing in 12 months anyway? Like, you're probably going to be in the same place. Like, we both know, like, I mean, we're close in age. Like, the older you get, time flies like that. A year is nothing.
Yeah.
So like 12 months of just effort. And I mean, if you just apply these strategies, and they're not rocket science. I'm not doing anything like any super wizardy stuff. It's common sense. It's just the discipline and consistency, and not like, we all have shiny object syndrome, but you just got to freaking put in the effort. Like what you were saying before we went live, your success with Kindle, we both started at the same time with Kindle, and I made a little profit, got excited, and was like, oh, and got distracted. And you just stayed focused, and within what, like 90, 100 days, you were already at 5 figures a month. Like, it sucks that I'm the person in that story that like had lesser results, but it's interesting for two people that started out at the same place and how one achieved like massive success. And in that story, I just achieved 100 and went on my way.
So, but you were probably, you're probably researching SEO, internet marketing, and then you got really good at that, and then that's obviously got you to where you're at today, which is cool. And it's a story of like perseverance too. Like you've like myself, you've probably failed at endeavors, and you're like, instead of like quitting, you just said, you know what, I'm gonna keep working at this until I figure it out. And I mean, dude, it's super cool, man, because like everybody, the buzzword is like paid marketing and live video and all that stuff's like super, super cool. And like, you can do a lot with it, but like, you go back to the basics and just like focus on, like you said, man, hammer down on something for a year and imagine where you could be if you just built up an asset, a blog. It's not like we're telling you to like go out there and be a door-to-door salesman. Like, literally create a blog, preferably about something you like. I mean, you like internet marketing, I like internet marketing, so we do that. But if there's nothing that you like, that you don't have hobbies, and like, figure out what people like. That's how you create a business. That's how you can create some financial independence, where you're actually able to, like you said, you quit your job. You're going to get the dream car. I don't know what you're going to get. You might get a Maserati or I would get a Tesla. I'm going to try to go for it. I'm going to try to get a Tesla. So yeah,
should probably do that. But yeah, it's so anybody can achieve that. And like, I want to go back to put that in context and perspective again too. Like, you remember sites like Viral Nova and some of those kind of viral sites. Those sites got a lot of buzz once they got sold. But if you read the story of the guy that created that, and he created like multiple of those trending sites and those viral type sites, if you read this story of what it took to build those, which nobody seems to read that and care about that, but they just care about, oh, they sold it for like $20 million in 2 years. Time frame, 2 years. And if you read what he did, they posted, I think, like 10 posts a day consistently for like a year or two. People seem to gloss over that fact. And then they flipped it, and then it got sold. But they still had to put in the effort. Like, yes, it's not hard, but they were disciplined. They did the same thing over and over again. So that's the same thing that you need to do for yourself. Like, I've got a friend that he knows a lot about like brain fog. I don't know if you've heard of that before. Mm-hmm. Never heard of it. Have it all the time. Yeah. It sounds like something we all suffer from. Yeah. But I never heard of that term before him. And I told him, man, you should just, if you type in brain fog to some of these keyword tools, and that's something I want to get to in a second too, with the Longtail, I forgot to mention, but there's these keyword tools that you can type in and find all these suggestions for long tail keywords, and you can just start with a root keyword. And I said, man, you should become the brain fog expert guy. Like, I know it's super niche, but if you type in brain fog, there's thousands of keywords. So obviously there's a lot of people like those aren't just like suggestions. Those are
people are typing that in.
Yeah, those are from results that people are typing in.
And you're using keywordtool.io. Is that your main method you're using, or is there other tools that you would recommend?
There's other ones, but that's a really good one. That's one I started with. So
okay,
it's a great one, and it's free. I told him that he should become the brain fog guy because he's got a membership. He's building it with like Kajabi, and Kajabi has a built-in blog platform. So I said, you should write all these articles all about long tail keywords related to brain fog to suck in that organic traffic, and then they're already going to be on your Kajabi platform, which is the membership site, and then from the blog you can point them to your membership site. And I was like, because he said, I think his income goal is maybe typical like $3,000-5,000 a month. I was like, I 100% believe that you can get to that level with just this small niche if you dominate this keyword category. So it seems so, I don't know, maybe it seems daunting or whatever, but it's such a niche thing. But there's so many people in the world, and like there's just everybody's distracted. We've got the Netflix and all the trending news and politics and all this stuff and TV shows, and everybody's distracted. So like, just know that like your biggest competition is pretty much yourself. Like you're only competing with you. Like I teach and tell people exactly what I'm doing with ClickFunnels with SEO, and my competition has barely gone up any. Like, how is that possible?
I don't know. I've thought about that a lot, and I think people they're impatient and distracted and shiny object syndrome, and they like goal. So it's like the core stuff, and it's like. But at the same time, like all you can do is just, like you said, focus on yourself, and maybe they get it figured out. But yeah, like you say it all the time. In your posts and stuff, you're like, man, anybody can do what I'm doing, right? Like you always say.
I don't say that just so you can buy my course. I'm like, I'm telling you the truth, like because I achieved it, like, and I am like part of that anyone, like. Just a year ago, I was not making enough to like live hardly.
Right. You were working your job. You're hating your life, and not hating your life, but you just weren't as happy as probably you are now with the ability to kind of do whatever you want and work on your business more and all that. So that's kind of a cool byproduct of what you've accomplished.
Right. And I'll share this little fact. So last December, up until then, like my biggest month, because I had my job, which didn't pay much at all, but it sucked out like 10 hours out of my day because I had to be there. So 8 hours plus lunch and then the commute, that's like 10, 11 hours right there. And come home, you don't have much left over. So a good month for me on the internet, even a year ago, was like 3,000, 4,000. So when I left my job, I still had to make, even though it wasn't paying me much, I still had to make up a difference of like $1,500, which may sound like crumbs, but I still had to make up that difference to live. Right. And the interesting thing was, in like 2 months, I not only made up the difference, but made a lot more than that from the implementation. So that the implementation, it took some time, but now I had all my time. So the work didn't take as long as it did to kind of acquire the information. And so, I've got a course, you've got courses and teachings on things that you've done. So like, literally, if you just sit down and concentrate and take the time to digest the information and take action, the action is key, because, a lot of people are consumed by like the law of attraction and stuff, but they forget that they actually have to act.
You gotta work, man.
Like it's in the word, it's on the end, action. It's part of attraction.
You posted in Facebook a cover of Thinking. I don't know if you did this or if this is something you did, but you X'd out Thinking.
I did that, and I was like, I can't be the first person that thought of that. But
I don't know, man. I mean, you know what? Like I recommend that book highly, but like, yeah, like taking action like trumps everything. Even if you like just take massive action and you do like, I know people like internet marketers that damn near do everything wrong. They don't have a funnel. They don't have anything right. But they're just out there like pumping hard, and they're making good money because they're just like hitting it on every level. Like they're just hard workers and they're taking action, they're networking, but they don't have like a sales funnel. They don't have, good copy or anything, but action trumps almost everything. And, what's cool about what you've done is you've put everything, distilled all the knowledge you've accumulated and put it into your course. And it's really cool that you've done that. And, for the price of like a PlayStation, you can literally change your life. You've went from $3,000 last year to, I think your biggest month was what, 20,000? I don't know, maybe more, but it was
like 18, almost 20. But yeah, I mean, everybody that looks at so I have my income reports, which just a little, by the way, you can look at those and reverse engineer where my money's coming from. So if you're smart, go freaking promote those things. Like,
right.
That's what I learned from. That kind of clicked for me several months ago. I'm not the first person to do income reports. Go look at some of those income reports. I'll give people this tip. One of the things that stood out to me that you see in a lot of these income reports is that stood out on every single one of them was hosting services. And I was like, okay, if Pat Flynn and Matthew Woodward and all these other SEO people are all making 5 figures a month promoting hosting, maybe I should start promoting hosting services a little more heavily. And once I did, I just increased my income by a couple $100 a month. And I'm not even like aggressively doing it, but I was like, cool, just by nature of taking action, I just increased my, income.
You've given yourself a raise by taking action. Russell Brunson talks about that all the time. He's like, if we just, like, a doctor can't do that. A doctor can't double their income in a year. They'd have to go to school for like 8 years to get a thing. He's like, as an internet marketer, we can change copy on a page, write some articles like you did that one, that month where you just wrote a bunch of articles, and you've doubled, tripled, quadrupled your income based off a month of just a couple hours a day, right? So
right. And so like you asked, I think before the call, am I like hustling, grinding every day? And like, well, I like little bits and pieces of that. Like I guess I work kind of like Tim Ferriss mentions in his 4-hour work week, which I'm actually going to meet him tonight at a book signing.
Oh, cool. Cool. That's one of my people I really look up to.
Because he lives in Austin now. But
Tim Ferriss, he moved to Austin? That's
so
crazy.
But anyway, this will be irrelevant in like a couple of months probably. No, so he mentions in the 4-hour work, like how he likes to work, and he does it in sprints. So like work, and then just kind of take a little time off and space out and think about the next project, and then work. Like I do these little sprints. So I'm working throughout the day, but I'm not working the whole day. So I'll work, take a break, work, take a break, work. So I kind of mix it up throughout the day. So I'm doing a lot throughout the day because I've got 24 hours to spread that out, but I don't have a lot of responsibilities. It's just me. I don't have a family and kids and stuff. So I don't have to compress that into like a 4-hour chunk or anything. So I just sort of spread it out. So that's how I work. But yeah, so I love, people like Gary Vee and Grant. But I can only take a small dose of Gary Vee because I burn out. I can't work for 18 hours. That's not sustainable.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too, man. It's a hard axe to grind, I guess you could say, because not everybody's built for that. And like my thing is like, I have this group called the Hustle Project. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have named it something different, because that's not what I want to embody. Like I want to be able to live life on my own terms and not be like I'm not trying to be a billionaire, like I'm not trying to buy a sports team or anything like that. Like my thing is like strategy, like each day have like a little strategy that you can implement on. And a lot of people that hustle, it's just like they might be hustling, but maybe they're not hustling in a way that's like getting them towards their goal. They're just like doing a bunch of work, but it's not like focused work and focused effort. And that's what I'm big on.
Right. Like I consider, like, I definitely am probably of the camp of I work not as smart as I should. So, but I'm not working all the time, but I consider, hustling, this is hustling too. If you were smart enough to buy Bitcoin 4 months ago, just hitting the buy button, like, hey, that's hustling, you know, now it's 10, 11,000. Congratulations. I just hustled, you know.
Right. Yeah. Doing the research and stuff like that. Yeah. The whole Bitcoin stuff, I don't even know where to begin with that. I have no idea how that even works, dude. Probably a complete dumbass for not researching it. But my thing is like, we talked about shiny object, is like, dude, like if I'm focused on like Bitcoin and like all this other stuff, like at the end of the day, like Bitcoin's not a business, you know, like I want to focus on my business. You're focusing on your business. Like that's an asset that you can grow. Like people are all like, oh, you need to do this Bitcoin movement. It's like, dude, like, yes, there's going to be some rich MFers that have done stuff with Bitcoin.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, focusing on Jason Brock and focusing on what Greg Jeffries, that's a tangible asset that like 30 years from now, that's going to be like what you're doing. Like Grant, you know, he's built up this business. Tyler, all these guys are just, they're focused. They're not telling people how to buy Bitcoins. They're telling people like how to grow a business. And that's what I like about like what you're teaching is like, you're saying, hey, like, this isn't like a get rich quick. It's like you're building a sustainable thing. And a lot of what you're doing is recurring too, which is cool. Like it's consistent. Like you don't have to say like, I got to sell 30 courses. Like ClickFunnels and all these other affiliate programs typically are recurring.
And that's another thing, like a beautiful side of SEO. So like there's a couple of things since the beginning of the internet that have been sort of constant. Like I don't know if they'll change in the future, but there's a couple of things that have been pretty stable and evergreen. One of those is SEO because of search engines. Another thing is email. So email hasn't gone away yet. You know, open rates and stuff have kind of diluted over the years, but it's still a very powerful means of like making sales and stuff. And then SEO too. So ever since the first search engine, that's how we find content online. Yes, there's the social medias for finding trending stuff that's popular and whatnot, but like people still go to search engines a lot to find information and do research. And so this, you're building this. It's kind of like the brick and mortar version of the digital space. You're building this really sustainable asset because it's very common sense. Like the big mysteriousness surrounding SEO is that it's mysterious, and people think that it's something magical or that there's some trick. And what I teach in the course, I give people a little bit of context of why SEO, how SEO works and why, because it's got a structure to it. Like, and I go into this in the course too about like, why do you think Wikipedia ranks so high in search engine? When you type in anything, why is it always number 2 or number 3? Like, do you ever think about that? Because there's a reason. It's not because they're like, a portion of it is because they're popular and they've got a lot of links going to it now, and they've got a lot of traffic and stuff. But like when we were coming up in 2004 and 5, like when I was in high school, Wikipedia was just starting. Well, why was it didn't, not the whole world didn't know about it then like they do now. So why was it still ranking like on page 1? It's the structure of how it's laid out.
They're constantly producing content and
right. And so if you apply those same principles to SEO, like nothing's really changed. There's always buzz about algorithms that Google changing algorithms and all that stuff. And it's like the algorithms don't change SEO. Like SEO is kind of a constant because they'd basically, like HTML hasn't changed. They'd have to rewrite the internet, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, dude, I like it, man. In fact, I'm gonna probably issue myself a challenge, dude. I'm getting inspired. I'm getting motivated by this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my ability to hire writers and my knowledge that I've gained from that, and I'm gonna put together a site. I don't know what it's gonna be about. Maybe you can give me some insight. It's not gonna be ClickFunnels, man, because I don't want to, but it'll be something that I can do. And I'm gonna just produce content, maybe 20, 15 articles each month on it, and then maybe in 6 months we'll hop back on a call, and I'll be one of your glowing testimonial students that I can hopefully make some money myself, and obviously help you promote and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would actually be a really fun case study book that I would like to see, because you've definitely got, your brain works a little different than me, and you've got a little bit of edge on me because you've had that success with Kindle with outsourcing. So I'm pretty confident you could take what I teach in the course and what you know and have already done, and like destroy me.
I don't know about that, dude. I gotta find the right niche, but I mean, like you said, it's not like there's so many things. I just got to sit down and research what kind of primary industry that I want to promote, and then I just want to do it because what's cool is for me, like, you know, like you said, I don't have to write the articles, or I don't have to do the videos, stuff like that. So if I can hire somebody to do that, that would take some weight off my shoulders and allow me to focus on some other projects that I'm working on too.
Right. And like what you'll find once you get started is that, and I mentioned this again, kind of in like my sales video or something, that when you combine the long tail keywords with like a process that you would bring to the table with like this outsourcing and just like creating really good content for the long tail stuff, you're going to find yourself swimming in this massive blue ocean that you never knew existed before. And you're like, it's amazing. Like who knew that, thousands of people are searching for mattresses, and those have affiliate programs.
Right. I actually kind of did this with one of my e-com sites. So I'm in the self-defense industry. And so what I did is I created this is years ago, before I even I kind of understood it, but obviously I didn't do it the right way, and I didn't continuously take action, but I came up with this website. It's a self-defense blog, and I just wrote several articles that were keyworded towards products on my e-com Shopify store.
Yeah.
And that site, if I go to my Shopify dashboard, I can see that site is still driving traffic to those keywords. I'm making sales off of that. So I on my to-do list, I'm like, I need to go back and rewrite that blog, but we all have things that we probably should be doing that we're not, so.
No, it's like you don't have 1,000 Jasons to go out there and.
But it works though, that works. And I just, I kind of forgot about it then during this conversation. I'm like, damn, yeah, I actually have done that to a certain level, and I was doing it a different way. But it's I kind of, I guess, use that approach, your approach to drive traffic over to the e-com site. So, because Shopify's blog platform kind of sucks, but use WordPress blog, there's a lot more functionalities and stuff you can use. So.
Yeah, I just love the idea of, and we were talking again, we talked about a lot of stuff before the conversation of just diversifying, because with, platforms like the one we're on and just other big platforms, Instagram and Facebook and stuff, they're kind of unpredictable. Things could be going great one day, and then next month, man, your income could go down significantly or cease to exist altogether. So whenever you start to get some results, it's really a good idea to diversify your income streams, whether it be Amazon, or if you're going to be like a Shopify affiliate or ClickFunnels affiliate or ClickBank, or one of those health networks, ShareSell, Commission Junction. There's so many different products on those platforms that you can promote, and it's there's just it's like the more specific, the more niche you get in, even within the world of health and fitness, that's pretty big, and there's a lot of competition. Certain pills, but certain supplements and products, there's a lot of kind of the magical metric that you're looking for. The little unicorn is that something that has a lot of demand, a lot of search volume, very little competition, and there's a lot of those out there. Those aren't super duper rare. The more you do this, the more you'll find them.
You start going down. I think everybody thinks oh, I'm going to target these. I'm going to target diabetes, or I'm going to target whatever. And it's like you said, yeah, you could get there, dude, but you might beat your head against the wall. So you're just just go insane. It's why not maybe target somebody who has, I don't know, liver issues. Or whatever, liver restoration. So, you know what I mean? Get creative with it. I think people this is me talking to myself. We sometimes we just get lazy. We're oh, I'm gonna do a diabetes because I see people creating all these products around this. But it's well, like you said, maybe if you just set a focus goal to make 3 to 5K off one of your sites, that's good money, dude. That's more money than most people make at their job.
Yeah, and just a little tip, and there's so many examples of this, but if you ever get a shortage of idea, they're all around you. So if you live in a bigger city and you have a Barnes and Noble or Books A Million, go there, read, go down the aisles, go to the magazines, see what is on the racks. there's an infinite amount of like ideas. And if you like open up go to Barnes and Noble, open up a medical book and see all the freaking specific things that people can suffer from, and build a site around each of those. Like, because each one of those, there may be a small batch of people in the world that have those, but I guarantee you they're looking for it. Yeah, they're looking for a freaking solution, and they were willing to pay top dollar for it probably because they don't want to have that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one aspect of it. Just like you said, opening your eyes. I remember, doing my t-shirt business. I'm like, man, I need some t-shirt ideas. Like, so I was taking a road trip this summer, went into this truck stop, like a Love's or whatever, and then I'm looking at the t-shirts there, and like the ones that were selling the best were like the American Pride. Now maybe that was just because I was on a truck stop in Kentucky, but you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, and then you see like, we put some shirts out that did really well that were in that niche, because I was like, damn, like there's a demand for this kind of patriotic type of apparel. And yeah, it's just like being aware of your surroundings, I think is huge. And I think sometimes like we just, as marketers or as people getting into this business, we lack the creativity to come out with things that aren't like, some of my e-com sites are in really, really small niches, but they do really well, so.
Yeah, and also, like you said, lack the creativity. So one of the things I think that held me back for a long time is I actually do have a design background. So I want things to, one, look pretty, which is a terrible thing to bring online because a lot of times ugly converts better.
Yeah. Alex Becker was talking about that. He's like, his landing page is just like, looks like from 1995, but.
And I bet he's making bank off it.
He is making bank. And
yeah.
And not to cut you off, but like one thing too with the ugly design is like everybody's on mobile now, and so like the less stuff you have on your page is like the less images and stuff. Like that's what Russell Brunson was talking about. Like maybe that's why it converts better. But
yeah, and then the other thing I was going to say was with the ugly stuff and with the types of products you mentioned, like you never. And this was a hang up I had being in internet marketing space because I knew and liked certain tools in the internet marketing space. So I thought everybody should know and like these tools, which they may not care about the tools that I like. So just like your trucker, hats and shirts and stuff, while you may think, man, that's an ugly design, somebody else in Kentucky passing through is like, woohoo, I love this shirt. Yeah. I'm gonna get one for the whole family. He just made, holy shit, you just sold 6 of those. Like, so it doesn't matter what you like.
Very true. Very true. Yeah. There's stuff that, some of the stuff that I sell, like, I don't particularly I would never use it nor would I wear some of this stuff. But like, yeah, like you said, like there's 7.5 billion people on this earth. Like, to me, if you can't figure out a way to make money using your computer online with all the information we have, like, dude, hang it up. Like, you should be able to at least make $2,000 a month doing something. And that's what this channel is about. A lot of the channel is about, like, hey, let's use some of this. That's why I brought you on. It's like, dude, like you can do it, So.
I'll give you this little, I may have told you this before when we met, but this is kind of along the same lines. So before I came to Austin, I set up a Zazzle store. I've only made like $100 or something in that 7 years or something. But so I've only got a handful of designs, but I spent some time on creating like custom designs and whatever. But I have this one shirt that always sells around December. I haven't sold one this year, but every single year, this one shirt sells. And it took me like 5 minutes to make. I literally like stole an image off Google Images, grayscaled it or something, and put it on a shirt. It's a manatee, a little manatee image, and since they're called sea cows, just a little play on words. That's a manatee image with a little talk bubble that just says moo. I sell them every year, and every year only in December. And,
right.
And so that's just one
example of it's
every single year. So I mean, I've made well over the time I invested in creating that shirt, but every single year I sell that shirt, and it reminds me every single year, like, oh, I did that like 7 years ago.
My friend, you just got a new customer, so I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna find that.
Yeah, type in like manatee moo. It's the friggin' ugly shirt. But it's everybody, they buy it. And it's like that, since Zazzle's worldwide, people from all over the country world buy it. So one year I had like 4 people in Australia buy it. I'm like, I don't know what's the attraction of this ugly manatee shirt, but yeah,
man, that's funny. I buy a lot of my friends have like custom merchandise stores, and there's one that my friend Dale and Kelly have that says, I'm just here for the beer and boobs. And I forget, it's like a gray shirt, and the text is kind of like, it's black text, and I'm like, I was rushing out of the house one morning, and I took my son to preschool. I went to pick him up. And I parked and I walked to the preschool and to pick him up. It was like a nice day. It was like beginning of like the year. And I'm like, oh, fuck. People are looking at me like, dude, this is embarrassing. So
that's your son's dad.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man, this is not, because all the teachers are out there for the school pickup line and stuff. So everybody's looking at me like, I'm like, what?
You're like,
oh God.
You're walking up with flip flops and a beer in your hand. You're like, come on, son.
Yeah,
like,
come on home. But yeah, man. So the manatee shirt, that's a good one. Yeah, but like you said, like you threw that together, and that's not making you a fortune, but if you would have created
point, it could prove the concept. It works.
Yeah. So cool, man. So we've been talking a lot about your course. Maybe just talk a little bit about it, what it's going to provide. I know you've provided a ton of value on this training, on this video, man. So I appreciate that. Maybe you talk a little bit about the course and where they need to go get this course.
Yeah. So the course, so I basically sat down and bullet pointed out all the steps that I take to build kind of the framework of the types of sites that I build, these little niche affiliate sites. So I go, and this is designed for anybody now. From beginner to intermediate to advanced. If you're a beginner, it'll walk you through all the steps. If intermediate, it's probably going to be perfect for you. If you're a little advanced, try not to bore you too much or make it too long, because I know you probably understand, those kinds of people know what domains and hosting are and how to connect those. So you can just skip that part. But I tell you how to do all that. So everything you need to know about domains, hosting, WordPress themes, the plugins I use, I give you everything, because I don't know about you, but like in some of the courses that I go through, it kind of ticks me off when they give me like a direction, but they don't give me all the tools that they're using. I'm like, man, like what is the theme there, and what's the plugin? So I give you all that.
You're saying, hey, do this, yeah. Right? You're telling them, yeah.
Yeah, and you can take that and build your own little proprietary, skeleton side of a framework of what you want it to be, but I give you the stepping, starting point there. And then additionally, so that's the core training. And then I show you a ton of different ways to scale, because I think it's kind of a disservice to people that buy the course if I just tell them what to do, but not like how they can use it, because this can be applied to things like you're doing with ecom. I do it for affiliate marketing, but it could also be used for launch jacking. This can all, like, we speak English. I only speak one language, but there's a bunch of other languages out there. True. And you don't have to speak those languages to be able to create sites in those languages. So there's services that'll translate them. There's free sites that will translate them. They may not be the best translations, but there's free sites that translate into like German, French, Spanish, Chinese, all that stuff. So there's different traffic that's going to be attracted to those sites in different languages and stuff. And then there's just a bunch of other different ways to scale with this core strategy. So you get that. And then you also get access to a Facebook group, which I'm extremely active in there. It's a tight-knit group of people. Like, everybody that's bought the course so far is awesome. They're not a bunch of like tire kickers and stuff. So really, that made me feel really good. Like, everybody that has bought it is just awesome. Like, just to give you some context of some of the people that are in there, like when I initially launched it, it was a little bit cheaper than it is now. That was just kind of introductory price, and then I increased the price. And a guy was kind of on the fence at the previous price, and then when I raised it, he was like, oh man, I wish it was still cheap. I couldn't afford it. And then like the next day I got a Facebook message from him. He was like, guess what I just did? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not looking at my phone or whatever. And he was like, I just bought your motherfucking course. And I was like, and this is the same guy that said, he couldn't afford it a couple of days. So he somehow came up with, 300 extra bucks. So this is the kind of caliber of people that are in there. They're motivated, and stuff. So you also, and then kind of something that I don't really like to put out there too much, but just something that I do because I really care about people's success, is that since I do have some time to dedicate to not just in the group, but I really want people to succeed. Man, I've hopped on multiple Skype calls with sometimes the same person, but 4 or 5 different people in the group, spent an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours with them, like free one-on-one coaching, just making sure that they understand everything. Because I understand, if you're a beginner, there are going to be some there's a process, going to be a learning curve. And so I want you to be freaking successful. Like, I know this stuff works. I don't need to prove it to myself. Like, I made this course kind of as a reference for myself, but also to help others. Like, I don't need to share this with anybody. Like, I can just crawl my little hole and like be anonymous and you'll never know who I am. But I want to give this to other people that are looking to get from, ideally the whole goal, just to wrap it up, is to help people achieve the $100 to $200 a day passively, like consistently. Because like we talked about, most people don't. Yeah, they're attracted by the Lambos and the big houses and private jets and all that stuff. That's nice. But when you really sit down and talk to most people, they really just want to be free. And what that translates to in dollars is about $100 to $200 a day. Mm-hmm. And so while you can make significantly more with that, if you decide to, this training can absolutely help you get to 100 to 200 a day, which is like what you need to live a pretty comfortable life in America, and in some parts of the world, a much better life.
Different, geo arbitrage. And what's cool about what you're teaching too is the fact that like it's a building block for every single thing that you're going to be doing in online marketing. So whether you decide to like do a YouTube channel, like SEO works for YouTube, even sometimes, like you said, better. So definitely it's SEO affiliate domination, right? That's the name of the course.
Yep. So you can look it up. There's probably going to have a link somewhere on this page or this video where you can check it out.
Yeah. And what I'll do for the audience here is if you purchase the SEO affiliate domination, go down there and click that link in the description. I will do a free 1 hour like onboarding call with you. So I'm not obviously as knowledgeable as Greg is about this subject, but I do know some stuff about SEO. I use it for my businesses. And so if you go ahead and purchase this, which I highly urge you to do, then I will do a free 1 hour, either Skype, phone call, whatever you want to do to maybe help you get pointed in the right direction. So
that's awesome. Very generous.
Yeah, man. So hopefully a lot of people buy it, and I'm on the phone a lot, and they get some results, man, because that's what it's all about. It's helping people get results and make some money.
Yeah, because I want to mention this too. So like why I want you to get results is because we talked about this is like infinitely scalable. So while some other courses, there's this underlying feeling of like competition and with paid traffic and all that stuff, like you're not competing with me. Like, and even if you are, I'm like, okay, I'll go in this niche, like where you don't even know I exist. Like, so there's so much opportunity. So I want people to kind of change the way that they're thinking and the scarcity mindset, and let them know like this is, change your mindset to this abundant mindset. And I know they've probably heard that before with like lessons like The Secret and stuff, but like it's true. Like this is like a massive blue ocean.
It's a blue ocean, and to reference that, like Russell Brunson, a lot of, I don't know if he coined it, but like the blue ocean is like there's a lot of opportunity. There's not a lot of people out there fighting, and then a lot of these industries are bloody red oceans where it's like everybody's in them trying to go for the same piece of food, whereas the blue ocean concept is like there's money for everybody. There's opportunity for everybody.
Yeah, you're not making my cost per click go up and stuff like that. I just dive into another blue ocean. Like I don't care, so it's pretty awesome.
Cool, man. Well, Greg, I really appreciate you taking some time out on a Saturday to jump on this call. Usually the weekdays I'm in full dad mode, man. So I can't really hop on anything longer than 10 minutes. My son is like throwing a toy at me or asking me to go like turn a show on or something. So man, I do appreciate you taking some time out. Have fun meeting Tim Ferriss, man. I know that's going to be fun. And
life goals, man. See, and this, you probably realize this or like learn this too. Like, man, if you stay in this game long enough, if people are really serious about like affiliate marketing or making money online, like eventually, like you'll kind of cross paths with some of your mentors and people that you really want to meet. Like, I guess I lucked out by picking Austin and moving here.
It's like the hub now.
A couple of months ago, I met John Reese, which is like the guy that's known for the first $1 million day online. He moved to Austin. So all these people are like coming to me now. So I'm not even having to go meet them. And, met like Tony Robbins and all these other people. Like Tim was the, I used to hate to read because in school, all that stuff that they made us read just kind of turned me off. So after college, the 4-Hour Workweek was actually the first book that I read, and it changed everything. And I was like, I like to read now. This is awesome. And so, 7-8 years later, I finally got to meet him. So it's cool how those things work out. But so if you whatever, idolize me or Jason or something, I'm sure sometime in the near future, if you stay in this game, you start to go to these live events, you're going to meet us. Like, well, that's where we hang out.
And it's going to be a pleasure for you guys to meet us. It's going to be an absolute highlight of your life. Seriously, no, you're right, man. Like, you get to, the connections you get to meet, to build and everything like that, man, is really cool. And it's just all about, like you said, man, sticking to the plan, staying in the game and having fun with it, man. Like, this is so fun. Like, this is cool. I get to talk to cool people. I'm talking to my buddy Chris Jones tomorrow, and we get to do this, and we get to get paid to do it, and we get to help people. We get to change people's lives. Like your course, like we're going off on a tangent, but somebody was talking to me a couple weekends ago. She was like, "Dude, you need to you should just be like a college teacher." Or I was like, "I appreciate you saying that, but like, I'm able to help so many more people by putting videos out and helping them change their financial game, I guess you could say." And then you're doing the same thing. I mean, you're helping people like change their lives, and a lot of these college classes, which I do think are purposeful, like really don't, and so I was like, yeah. So she got upset by that. I'm like, whatever. So, add them to the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get a complaint ticket. But yeah, dude. So actually, man, after we hang up on the live interview, man, I'd like to talk to you maybe 5-10 minutes, and maybe you could point me in a niche direction if you got something up your sleeve, and then I'd like to do that case study for sure.
Yeah, so, absolutely, man. Let's do it.
Cool. All right, Greg. Thanks, man. And I'm sure we'll have you on again.
All right. Cool.
All right. Bye.